Hey students, so we are here just to review a little bit about how to create a works cited document. We talked about how it is a form of just accountability for someone who's creating research, and that there are rules for creating it that protect then the work that other people have published. It connects the dots between your research paper and your parenthetical citation, and then connects that to your works cited so that someone could conceivably go in, look at your parenthetical citation, trace it to your works cited, and then ultimately trace it back to the source where you originally found it. So that's the purpose of a works cited. On our Google stream, you have these two documents. I'm going to look at this one first, the creating your works cited. This has the directions. We talked about using Cite, and there's a link to that. It has the directions for the steps that we're going to go through. And at the bottom of this document, there is an example. Looks like the internet's not working very well right now either. So you will have at the top of your paper works cited, but obviously it won't say example next to it, and then your citations. One more thing to note about this is that at the bottom, it says a hanging indent should technically be used, but they're hard to do on the iPad. That hanging indent means, like, see how this is out here and then the second and third line are both indented? It's like the opposite of how you'd write a paragraph. And that's technically how a works cited should work. So I want you to know the rule, but also understand that the reason we're breaking it is because it super frustrates students, okay? And we're not in the business of frustrating, we're in the business of learning. And while a little frustration in learning is good and healthy, this is so much so that we're going to make sure we understand the rule, but then we're going to break it, okay? So you are going to take your packet that you have of all of your 8 sources. Let me grab one. Okay. This packet, right? The one that has all of your 8 sources. And you are going to use the stuff at the top to put it into your citation engine creator, I guess. Remember that over here where my mouse is hovering, you want to pick MLA, and then down here, select web page blog post. So you want to pick that one. All of these other things are for different types of sources, okay? You fill in your authors. Well, where do you find your author? Should be on your packet, okay? The first, middle initial if it exists, and last. Sometimes there's just maybe has a first initial and the last name. That's okay. If there's more than one author, you can pick that, right? The website title is going to be your website title, sponsor, organization from your packet. And probably no editor exists. Documents title, probably no publisher. The date retrieved. Remember, if it has a specific date, like March 12, 2018, you can fill that in here. Sometimes it just says like spring, summer 2020. And if that's the case, you can just put in 2020. Any of the stuff that you don't have in this, if you're like, well, I don't have a publisher, for example, or I don't have an author, then you leave it blank. It's not like it's a required field. It'll still create a citation for you. Here's the one thing that might be a little different from class. You see where it says include URL? If you're doing this at home and you can't get on Mel, you can't go back to your source, then you're just going to pick no, don't include the URL. But if you can find that website again, it's best to include the URL. And then you copy paste here. We found it on a database, right? Because unless you used regular old Google, you either used Mel or you used Google Scholar. And then, sorry, my internet is really slow. And then you submit to create your citation. That citation, when you copy paste, you'll hit submit, you'll copy paste it, you'll put it into your works cited document and organize it as such in here into your works cited that you've already shared with me in class. Your works cited page is a separate document from your research paper, And when we get together again, I would like for that to be completed, if not almost completed, with all 8 sources. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions, and we will continue on with the research project. Great job, guys.